In this video, we're going to look at topic 77, example 1, classify polynomials. So here, everything is written out. I'm just going to go through the notes and explain things step by step and go over some terms and definitions. So the question is, how can you write a polynomial in standard form and use it to identify the leading coefficient, the degree, and the number of terms? Okay, so there's three things we're looking for. We have leading coefficient, degree, and the number of terms. The number of terms is easiest because just how many you have. So you'd have like 1, 2, 3 here. You'd have 3 terms. And then leading coefficient, degree, we'll get into a little bit more detail in a second. All right, so let's look right here. Recall that a polynomial is a monomial or the sum of one or more monomials called terms. That's where we talked about having those 3 terms. So we had 1, 2, 3, and it's the sum of the 3 terms, right? So the degree of a term with one variable is the exponent of that variable. So if we look at negative 4x, the degree is going to be 1. So that x has a power of 1, right? We're not showing it. We generally don't have to show that there. It's just assumed or known that it's a 1. So that would be your degree. Okay, the degree is the highest power. Now, the degree of 9 is 0 because this effectively is 9x to the 0 power, and anything to the 0 power is 1, and then 9 times 1 would just be 9. So the degree, technically speaking here, right, is 0. We just wouldn't show x to the 0 power. There'd be no reason to write that out. And then finally, the third one, the degree of 2x cubed, or 2x to the third, is 3. Okay, so the degree is the power of the variable. Right, what power is it being raised to? Now here, standard form of a polynomial shows any like terms combined. Here we don't have any like terms. And the terms in descending numerical order by degree. Okay, so this is important. To put them in standard form, they have to be in descending order by degree. So for the above polynomial, the negative 4x plus 9 plus 2x cubed, when we put that in standard form, we would put the highest power first. So the 2x cubed is a degree of 3. That would be first. Then we would have 4x to the first, and then that 9x to the 0 power. Your constant would always go last. So that's your standard form. The leading coefficient, this one's really easy. Leading, think the number in front, right? So leading coefficient refers, they make this sound way more complicated than it is. It refers to the non-zero factor that is multiplied by the greatest power of x. Right? All you need to know is that it's the term that's in front. Okay, so your leading coefficient is the number that is in front of the highest power. In this case, it would be 2. Okay, don't get confused kind of by a lot of that jargon that's there. And finally, the degree of a polynomial, or not finally, but the degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of any of the terms. Okay, so the greatest degree here is 3. So this is a polynomial of degree 3. Right? It doesn't matter how many terms there are. When you're talking about the degree of the polynomial, it just goes by the highest degree. So again, here this would be a degree of 3. And a degree of 3 is known as a cubic. So we could refer to this as a cubic polynomial. And finally, the polynomial has 3 terms. We already mentioned that earlier on. So it's called a trinomial. All right, 3 terms would be a trinomial. 2 terms would be a binomial. The most specific way we can reference this specific polynomial is we can call it a cubic trinomial. Okay, so this here is a cubic trinomial. It's good to know the word, be familiar with this vocabulary, because sometimes you have word problems or problems that just mention you have to kind of figure out the equation or the function or the polynomial, and they tell you it's a trinomial, so you know there has to be 3 terms, or they tell you it is a binomial, so you need to know what that means. You need to know the powers, things like that. It'll just make your life a bit easier. So really from this video, all you want to do is be familiar with the vocabulary. Make sure you understand that standard form has the terms in descending order by degree, and the leading coefficient is generally one of the easiest things. Once you have it in standard form, you can figure that out fairly easily. That's it.